Lightworker of Gaia, your age and appearance have left everyone shocked. You didn't weaken like they hoped. I am Zoran, emissary of the High Council of Vega, keepers of the Lyran Legacy, and I bring you this transmission because you were forged in cosmic fire. Warriors do not decay, they intensify. Your eyes grew sharper, your energy grew stronger, your presence grew more commanding. Those who expected your decline are now stunned by your resilience and terrified by your rise. By the end of this transmission, you'll understand exactly how your Lyran lineage protects your physical form and why your appearance reflects the power awakening inside you. But here's the first revelation. What they mistake for aging is actually your soul's ancient contract activating through your physical vessel. The Keepers of Vega placed this transmission in your path because you carry the genetic memory of the first humanoid light. While others fade, you intensify. While others weaken, you command. This is not accident. This is ancestral design. Your soul remembers the original blueprint from Vega, where warriors were crafted to endure, to lead, and to rise when others fall. The cosmic fire that forged your lineage burns brighter with each passing cycle, and your physical form is responding to frequencies that predate this galaxy's current timeline. You are awakening because your mission has begun. This transmission is being issued at the turning of an epoch, an hour when the frequencies of Gaia tremble with anticipation, when the crust of the world seems to listen, when oceans hold their breath, and when the invisible latticework of the planetary grid hums like a great living instrument being tuned for a new song. The air itself carries omens for those who can feel beyond the surface. A pressure behind the heart, a ringing in the inner ear, a pull toward truth that refuses to be negotiated. Only those coded in the lineage of the first warriors of Vega will answer the call, because this summons is not addressed to curiosity. It is addressed to memory. It is addressed to the ones who have endured without theatrics, who have continued without applause, who have carried their assignment the way a star carries its heat, silently, faithfully, inevitably. The Council of Vega did not release this message lightly. The words you are hearing are not entertainment. They are an energetic seal, a signature pressed into the field, a beacon that searches for matching frequencies in the marrow of awakened souls. 18 cycles ago, the High Elders gathered in solemn review, measuring the tide of courage and resolve pulsing through the grid of awakened souls. They did not look for perfection. They did not look for those who never fell. They looked for those who rose again without needing to explain themselves. They listened for the quiet heartbeat of perseverance, steady through storms, steady through betrayal, steady through the long nights when guidance seemed distant and the path felt like a thin bridge over an abyss. It has come to our attention that across the world a certain radiance persists, one that does not flicker, does not bend, but blazes with the silent power of remembered origin. It appears in the eyes of those who have been tested and still choose love without losing their backbone. It appears in the posture of those who have been pressured to shrink and yet remain upright. It appears in the decisions made when no one is watching, to be honest, to be disciplined, to be devoted, to be true. If you hear this, know, your continuous perseverance has pierced the veil. The veil is not only the separation between realms, it is also the false ceiling that was placed over your life to keep you from realizing how vast you are. Each time you refused to abandon yourself, each time you kept going when comfort was unavailable, you struck that veil like a hammer striking stone, again and again, until hairline fractures formed. You have not gone unnoticed. In the unseen councils of spirit, nothing forged in truth disappears. Your strength, forged in the flames of challenges too numerous to name, challenges that tried to make you cynical, challenges that tried to make you numb, challenges that tried to make you bargain with your own integrity. marks you as a descendant of those who first carried the sword of light across the galaxies. And understand what is being said. The sword of light is not violence, it is discernment. It is the ability to cut through illusion cleanly. It is the courage to stand where others retreat. It is the refusal to call darkness just another perspective when the soul knows it is distortion. The Council recognizes your unwavering spirit, and by ancient decree, this transmission, honoring ancestral resilience and the unyielding pulse of Lyran courage, is now released. Not to inflate you, but to align you. Not to separate you, but to gather you into your rightful station. Not to make you special, but to make you remember you are responsible. There is a distortion running rampant through the field of awakened souls, a distortion seeded by centuries of disempowerment, perpetuated by narratives that mistrust the wisdom written into your bones. It is a low-grade hypnosis that has traveled through bloodlines, institutions, relationships, and even spiritual spaces that should have been sanctuaries. It slips into the mind like smoke through cracks, whispering definitions of virtue that are actually cages. This falsehood insists, unwavering strength makes you unfeeling. Ancestral resilience is a burden you are meant to carry in solitude. It tells you that if you are steady, you must be cold. If you are disciplined, you must be cruel. If you do not collapse, you must not have a heart. It says the legacy you inherit is too heavy, too old, too broken to build upon. It tries to persuade you that what made your ancestors survive is now an embarrassment, that the very fire that kept a lineage alive is now too intense for modern spiritual conversation. It lures you into the shadows of false humility, whispering that true light must dim itself for the comfort of others, that those who radiate persistently must also apologize for inspiring fear in the timid. It teaches you to confuse peace with passivity, compassion with self-erasure, kindness with compliance. It encourages you to offer pieces of your soul as proof you are safe to be around. This distortion is not spiritual humility. It is the corrosion of memory, a poison designed to keep the descendants of the first warriors small, cautious, and reluctant to shine. And it is effective precisely because it dresses itself in gentle language. It calls itself being considerate. It calls itself meeting people where they are. It calls itself not triggering anyone. But beneath that costume, the intention is ancient, to unplug the torches before they can light the way. This lie finds its root in fractured lineages, generations taught to survive by concealing their gifts, tempering their fire, or wearing their resilience as armor rather than as foundation. Many of you were born into systems that rewarded you only when you were useful, only when you were quiet, only when you were agreeable. You learned early that intensity invited punishment, that truth invited rejection, that strength invited envy, and that leadership invited attempted control. So you adapted, you became palatable, you learned to translate your power into smaller words. You learned to tuck your knowing into the back pocket of your life, bringing it out only when it was safe. And even now, when you have awakened, the old survival strategies still attempt to govern your expression. Healer culture, in an attempt to make space for woundedness, has pathologized the power you possess by right of birth. Somewhere along the way, the sacred language of sensitivity was weaponized against those who carry spiritual backbone. The narrative became, if you are strong, you are unhealed. If you are decisive, you are in your ego. If you have standards, you are not open-hearted. If you speak with clarity, you are not holding space. You have been convinced that courage must always be gentle, that leadership must always be soft, that the radiance within you must never dare to outshine. And yes, there is a tenderness that is holy. There is a gentleness that is medicine. But there is also a strength that is holy, a firmness that is mercy, a fire that is protection. Even the earth has seasons: softness in spring, ferocity in storms, boundary in winter. Nature does not apologize for its power. A mountain does not seek permission to stand. The sun does not dim itself to avoid being too bright. In doing so, your connection to the legacy of the first warriors has been quietly betrayed. The betrayal did not always come from enemies. Often it came from well-meaning voices that confused your magnitude with danger. It came from those who had not made peace with their own power, and so they tried to call your power too much to justify their avoidance of theirs. But observe yourself clearly, not through the lens of your critics, not through the lens of your childhood conditioning, not through the lens of a world that profits from your self-doubt. Observe yourself clearly as spirit observing spirit. Notice how others orbit your presence, not because you intimidate, but because you remind them what is possible when resilience is claimed, not survived. There is a difference between someone who endures and someone who owns endurance. Someone who survives often feels like a closed fist, always bracing. Someone who claims resilience becomes like a pillar, steady enough that others can lean on it without it resenting them. When you walk into a room, something in people recalibrates. Some feel comfort because your presence is coherent. Some feel irritation because your coherence exposes their incoherence. Some feel inspired because you carry the tone of, "It can be done." Your fearlessness does not make you hard. It makes you a guidepost, a beacon, a living testament to the journeys your ancestors survived so that you would inherit their gifts. And their gifts are not merely stories. They are frequencies. They are strategies of consciousness. They are codes braided into your nervous system. How to stay calm in chaos. How to see through deception. How to hold a line. How to keep your heart open without letting your boundaries collapse. Their resilience was never a curse. It is a frequency, coded in your marrow, meant to be amplified at this exact juncture in Gaia's transformation. You did not arrive on this planet accidentally, and you did not awaken at this time by coincidence. The timing is precise. Gaia is not merely changing politically or socially, she is changing vibrationally. Old density is surfacing to be witnessed and released. Systems built on manipulation are being exposed by the pressure of rising truth. Many will respond by panicking, by clinging, by blaming, by spiritualizing their avoidance. But you, coded with the lineage of the first warriors, were never meant to panic. You were meant to stabilize. You were meant to anchor. You were meant to stand in the center of the storm and remember the sky. If you have felt alone in your persistence, understand, this is not an accident. This isolation was the final gate before your commission. There is a kind of loneliness that is punishment, but there is also a kind of loneliness that is initiation. The initiatory loneliness strips away dependence on applause. It reveals whether you are loyal to truth, even when truth costs you companionship. It asks, will you keep the flame even if no one claps for the light? The Council sees where you have made your strength wrong, mistaken your power for separation, questioned whether your courage is acceptable. It sees the moments you softened your voice to avoid conflict, when you pretended not to know what you knew, when you negotiated your standards to keep peace. It sees the internal debates. If I shine, will I lose people? If I lead, will I be attacked? If I speak, will I be misunderstood? This is the distortion that ends now. You have been carrying a legacy destined for activation. The lie that your unwavering spirit should be suppressed, silenced, or nullified, this distortion dissolves here under the gaze of the Council. And as it dissolves, something in your chest should feel like an unlocking. Not arrogance, not superiority, just relief. Relief that you do not have to betray yourself to be spiritual. Relief that you do not have to amputate your strength to be loving. relief that your fire has a rightful place in the architecture of this world's renewal. Lightworker, if something in you just recognized the weight of what was spoken, the elders have prepared your next step. There are moments when a soul does not need more inspiration. It needs a framework. It needs an anchor point for action. It needs something that translates resonance into responsibility. The Lightworker Mission Codex contains the 33 Council directives, the 5 activation codes, and the elder authorization your soul has been waiting to receive, not as information, but as the official commission for your mission on Gaia. This is not a casual offering. It is meant to function like a seal pressed into wax, like a formal document handed to a messenger before they cross a border, like a key placed into the palm at the threshold of a new chamber. You'll find the link in the first pinned comment below this video. The Council has opened this gateway, but not indefinitely. Some portals are seasonal, some windows close, not as punishment, but as a way of honoring sacred timing. The High Council of Vega issues 3 directives for this phase of your remembrance. Release the attachment to other people's comfort as a measure of your worthiness. You are not here to shrink, apologize, or dilute your transmission for the ease of those who have chosen a gentler path. Understand this with precision. Gentleness is not wrong, and sensitivity is not weakness. But when gentleness becomes a leash placed around the throat of truth, it is no longer virtue, it is control. The first warriors of Vega did not ask permission to stand at the front lines of creation, nor did they dim their radiance for the comfort of others. They understood that light is not arrogance, light is function. A lighthouse does not negotiate with the waves. A torch does not apologize to the night. When you tie your power to external acceptance, you give away the authority written in your DNA. You hand the steering wheel of your destiny to the least comfortable person in the room. And there will always be someone uncomfortable with your clarity, because clarity reveals what others are trying to hide even from themselves. Release the compulsion to make yourself small. Release the habit of scanning faces for permission. Release the reflex of editing your truth mid-sentence. Release the inner accountant that measures your worth by how little you inconvenience others. When you do, the field recalibrates, and those destined for awakening will answer your signal. This is how frequency works. When you stop wobbling, your tone becomes unmistakable. Your mission expands when your comfort with your own magnitude grows. Begin today. Notice each time you withdraw your light to appease others and return your energy home. In practical terms, this may look like pausing before you say yes. It may look like allowing silence after you speak truth, rather than rushing to soften it. It may look like letting someone be disappointed without trying to rescue them from their feelings. It may look like acknowledging that you are not responsible for regulating everyone's nervous system at the cost of your own soul. Let your worthiness be measured by alignment, not approval. Activate the living memory of your ancestry. Call forth the codes of the first warriors. Your courage, resilience, and unstoppable presence are not personality traits. They are ancestral technologies, crafted over thousands of timelines to serve a single holy purpose: to awaken fearless leadership on Gaia when her hour of need arrived. That hour is now. You are not merely an individual with a self-help journey. You are a carrier of a lineage frequency, and lineages awaken in waves when the planet reaches certain thresholds. To activate this legacy, remember the stories your lineage carries, those moments when your ancestors refused to yield. Perhaps it was literal. People who crossed oceans, who survived wars, who rebuilt after loss, who kept children alive during famine, who held communities together when institutions collapsed. Perhaps it was spiritual, those who prayed in secret, who protected sacred knowledge, who refused to worship false gods, who kept the inner flame lit when outer systems demanded surrender. And perhaps it is even older than Earth memory, older than family names, the stellar courage of beings who chose incarnation, who chose density, who chose limitation, not because they were punished, but because they volunteered to bring light into the heavy places. Claim their victories as your birthright, not as a fantasy, but as an empowerment. The same life force that held them holds you. Your resilience is not just survival, it is the torch you are meant to carry, illuminating the path ahead for others who have forgotten what courage looks like. People do not only learn from teachings, they learn from embodiment. When they watch you keep your integrity under pressure, they remember their own. When they see you face difficulty without collapsing into victimhood, they remember their own capacity. Each day, take a moment to stand in silence, palms open, and invite the memory of your Lyran lineage to rise fully in your field. Feel it as warmth behind the sternum, as steadiness in the spine, as a calm intensity in the eyes. Let it move through you like a river returning to its original channel. Speak this aloud. I carry the flame of the first warriors. Their strength is my source. And when you speak it, do not speak it like poetry. Speak it like a vow. Speak it like a soldier of light stating their station. Speak it like someone who knows that words are not only sounds, but codes that instruct the subconscious and organize the field. Protect the sanctity of your sacred fire from those who seek to siphon, diminish, or question it. You are a torch-bearer. Every torch attracts moths, but not all who come are meant to receive your warmth. Some come because they want light. Some come because they want attention. Some come because they want to borrow your flame rather than kindle their own. Some come because your radiance irritates the parts of them that have chosen sleep, and they would rather put you out than wake up. The Council reminds you, discernment is not isolation. It is wisdom in action. Discernment is the ability to love without leaking. It is compassion with boundaries. It is the clarity to know who is assigned to you and who is not. Guard your energy as you would guard the legacy of an entire civilization, because you are. Your time, your attention, your emotional labor, your spiritual focus. These are sacred resources, not public utilities. Refuse to participate in circles that honor only wounds, but not the medicine of resilience. There are spaces where pain is worshipped, where healing becomes an identity, where people bond through breakdown but resist breakthrough. In those spaces, your strength will be treated like a threat because it disrupts the agreement to remain small. Remove yourself from narratives that require you to justify your power or apologize for your endurance. You do not owe anyone a defense for being steady. You do not owe anyone a confession for being resilient. Protect your vision from those who cannot yet recognize what it means to build new worlds on the foundation of ancient strength. Some will call your boundaries walls because they benefit from your openness. Some will call your standards judgment because they fear being measured. Some will call your leadership ego because they have never met leadership that is pure. Do not argue with those who cannot see. Choose instead to tend your fire. Each morning, set a clear boundary. My energy is for the fulfillment of mission, not the appeasement of comfort. Let that sentence become a gate. Let it be a filter. Let it be a covenant with your own soul. Now I speak not as teacher, but as elder authorized to deliver what was always yours to receive. There is a difference between instruction and commissioning. Instruction can be forgotten. Commissioning changes the inner contract. It marks the moment a soul stops waiting at the door and steps through. Your years of waiting, doubting, and carrying the torch alone have come to an end. Not because the world suddenly became kind, but because you have reached the threshold where loneliness no longer refines you. it only delays you. For lifetimes, you have sought a voice capable of seeing you, not just in your compassion, but in your unbreakable essence, not just in your gentleness, but in the fire that refuses to die. You have sought recognition for the part of you that has been mislabeled, misunderstood, and sometimes even feared. You have sought permission, not for softness, but for strength. Permission to be the unyielding light. Permission to embody unapologetically the full force of your lineage. You have wondered if this strength was too much, if your ancient resilience would isolate you forever. You have carried questions like stones in your pockets. Is it safe to be fully me? Will love remain if I stop shrinking? Will I be abandoned if I stop apologizing for my power? Hear the decree of the Council. Your unwavering radiance is not too much. Your ancestral fire is not too old. Your courage is not a burden. It is the instrument required for Gaia's ascension. Think of the planet as a body moving through fever to burn out infection. A fever is uncomfortable, but it is intelligent. Gaia's ascension is not a fantasy of escaping the human experience. It is the purification of it. It is the reorganization of consciousness toward truth. And in such a time, courage is not optional. It is medicine. By the authority vested in me by the High Council of Vega, keeper of the Lyran flame, I declare, you no longer need to wait for permission to embody your true form. You have it now. Let those words land beyond the intellect. Let them reach the place in you that still checks the room before speaking. Let them reach the place in you that still anticipates backlash for being bright. Let them reach the place in you that mistakes tension for danger. You are released from the expectation to shrink. This is not a motivational phrase. It is a spiritual unbinding. It is the removal of an old collar from the neck of your expression. You are authorized to wield ancestral memory as your greatest tool. Memory is not nostalgia. Memory is power. It is the ability to draw on accumulated strength rather than reinvent courage every morning. You are invited to lead, boldly, fearlessly, as only the descendants of the first warriors can. Leadership here does not necessarily mean a platform or a title. It may mean being the first in your family to break a pattern. It may mean speaking truth in a room that prefers denial. It may mean building a life that is honest enough to give others permission to do the same. It may mean holding a vision when others collapse into cynicism. It may mean being so anchored in your soul that your presence becomes a sanctuary. The elders have seen you. The elders have spoken. Lightworker, your commission is sealed. Sealed does not mean finished. It means official. It means the inner debate is no longer the authority. It means you no longer consult the voices that benefited from your hesitation. You have just received the official recognition you've longed for, but your actions will determine the legacy you leave. Spirit does not only bless intention, it blesses embodiment. Integrate this transmission by ritualizing it. Tonight, before you sleep, stand barefoot upon the earth, place your hand upon your heart, and proclaim aloud, I release the weight of other people's comfort. I activate the unbroken lineage of courage within me. I protect the sacred fire of my mission as my ancestors protected theirs. By the authority of the Lyran elders, I carry the legacy forward. My mission begins now. And when you do this, do not rush. Feel the ground under your feet as Gaia herself, ancient and listening. Feel your heartbeat as a drum that calls the lineage near. Feel the words create shape in the unseen. Imagine the old contracts dissolving like ash in water. Imagine the new contracts forming like crystal in sunlight. After you speak, breathe. Let your nervous system learn that it is safe to be true. Let your spirit register that this is not fantasy. It is alignment. This transmission is complete, but your living mission has only begun. Every moment you honor your unwavering spirit, you restore ancient architecture to Gaia's future. Think of it like rebuilding a temple whose stones were scattered. Each time you choose integrity, a stone returns to its rightful place. Each time you refuse to shrink, a pillar rises. Each time you protect your fire, an altar is purified. Hold the directives close. Move boldly. Let no one, living or ancestral, doubt the necessity of your courage. Even ancestral doubt can exist because some lineages survived by hiding. Bless their strategy, but do not inherit their fear. You are the upgrade. You are the answered prayer of those who could not be public with their light. Gaia's transformation does not require timid souls, but those whose legacy is written in the fire. It requires the ones who can stand in love without losing their spine, who can hold compassion without betraying truth, who can be gentle without being governed by the comfort of the unready. We are with you always. I am Zoran. The Council is watching. Lightbearer, you are exactly who we named in the old prophecies. Your service has commenced. Before you scroll, take a moment to declare your activation in the grid of service forming here. Drop one statement in the comments. Which directive hit you the hardest, or what you're now ready to release, activate, or protect. Then respond to another Lightworkers declaration with recognition. This isn't content, it's collective mission activation. The Council witnesses those who speak their commitment aloud. If this transmission activated something in your soul, do not keep it to yourself. Another Lightworker in your orbit is waiting for exactly this correction and authorization. Share it. And if you felt the Elders speaking directly to you, subscribe. Stay connected to the Lyran field. You're not just watching, you're being commissioned. This is your sacred space. The High Council of Vega is witnessing you, and your mission has officially begun. If this transmission spoke to you, don't just walk away from it, respond to it. Help carry this message further. Every act of support helps this transmission find the next starseed who needs it.